people to join, some misdirected, not following standards, and they will join us in a second or two and we can move ahead. So let them just get a chance to join in here. Are we good to go yet? Is everybody given a bit more time? Okay, we'll give them a bit more time to join.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's InFocus session. Our topic is supercharging Autodesk workflows with automation and custom tools. We choose this because across Revit and AutoCAD teams, we keep seeing the same situation. The software is powerful, but the way we work inside it often includes far too much manual effort. Most teams don't lose time because they can't model. They lose time because of the in-between work. Repeating the same clicks and setup steps, creating and naming the same kind of views and sheets, exporting packages again and again with the same setting, checking compliance manually, and fixing inconsistencies that appear because each person executes a process slightly differently. Those small steps don't just cost time, but they introduce risk, rework, missed standards, and wrong outputs, and late surprises. Under deadline pressure, even great teams slip into get it out of the door mode. And that's exactly where standardization and automation becomes valuable. So today isn't about more features. It's about answering a practical question. How do we turn common Autodesk workflows into streamlined, reliable digital processes using automation, custom tools, and integration without disrupting delivery? My name is Sibusiso, and I am joined by Chris from Modena AEC and Infrastructure. Between us, we work with organizations across AEC and Infrastructure, helping teams identify automation opportunities, build custom add-ins and plugins for Revit and AutoCAD. Integrate Autodesk workflows with business systems, and this is important. Support adaptation, long-term maintenance, so that the solution keeps working as Autodesk version changes and teams scale. You'll hear two connected themes today: what automation and custom tools can do inside Autodesk environments to remove repetitive work and standardize delivery. How Modena supports clients beyond the software through our core competency program and service offerings, so automation is sustainable, not a once-off tool that breaks or gets abandoned. We'll keep this practical. By the end, you should have a clear sense of where to start with automation, what workflows typically deliver the fastest gains, and how custom tools and integrations are approached, and how CCP and services help you adopt automation safely and keep it running long term. All right, let's dive into why this matters and what it looks like in real teams. Why this session? The pressure on delivery teams keeps increasing. Tighter timelines, more complexities, more coordination, and higher expectation for consistency. At the same time, many teams still rely on manual discipline. Remember to name it correctly. Remember the export setting. Remember the checklist. And that works until deadline hits. A new person joins, or standards evolve, or the project gets hectic. That's why the opportunity is so clear. With automation and custom tools, we can reduce repetitive clicks and admin work inside Autodesk tools, and we can improve quality by standardizing output so that we reduce human error. We can also speed up delivery using one-click tools, plugins, and automated packages. We can connect Autodesk workflows to business systems so information flows better instead of being copied manually. And this is the final piece. And the final piece is sustainability. It's not just about building a tool once. It's about building automation that lasts with adaptation, maintenance, and upgrades handled properly. That's where Modena supports clients through CCP and our ongoing services. So today we'll move from the problem to the solution. What slows teams down? What automation actually means in Revit and AutoCAD? And then we'll work through the 5 key questions covering CCP prioritization, real examples, maintenance and upgrades, integration, and safe adaptation. This slide is the reality of most teams recognize. First, repetitive tasks. Things you do daily or weekly, like setting up deliverables, cleaning up naming, exporting, or auditing. Second, inconsistency. Even with standards, 2 people can produce different outputs with the same intent, and variability becomes rework. Third, manual errors. Wrong exports set, missing information, inconsistent templates, unfilled parameters. The pain isn't just errors, it's the late discovery and time spent fixing it. Fourth, admin overhead, time spent on steps that don't move design forward, but are required for delivery. And finally, fragile overtime. Tools or scripts that aren't maintained start breaking with new Autodesk versions, and people quietly stop using them. So when we talk about supercharging workflows, we are aiming for speed, consistency, quality, and sustainability across versions and teams change. What do we mean by automation and custom tools? Automation can sound like a big, complicated thing, but in practice, many of the best wins are very straightforward. Reduce steps, reduce variation, reduce risk. Inside Autodesk tools like Revit and AutoCAD, automation typically shows up in 3 levels. Level 1, click reduction automation. This is the fastest win. You take a task that requires lots of menus, repetitive settings, repeated naming, and consistent rechecking, and you turn it into a button or a guided tool. Think of tasks like batched actions, applying consistent settings, automating repetitive setup, or packaging exports consistently. Even saving 3 minutes becomes huge if it happens dozens of times a week across multiple people. Level 2, standards and quality automation. This level is about ensuring standards are met consistently without relying on memory. Tools can check naming conventions, required parameters, model health rules, template compliance, and generate a report. This isn't policing. It makes the right way the easy way. Under deadline pressure, that makes an enormous difference. Level 3, end-to-end workflow automation. This is where automation connects steps into reliable processes. Instead of someone prepares views, someone exports, someone uploads, someone checks, a workflow tool can guide the user, applying the correct setting, generate output, and produce a record of what happened. Now, custom tools are simply automations shaped around your organization. Revit add-ins and plugins, AutoCAD scripts and commands, custom toolbars and panels, mini apps that reflect your standards and processes, integration tools connected Autodesk and other systems. The key value is that the tool matches your reality. Your naming convention, template, deliverable, package, QA rule, and data requirements. And finally, sustainability matters. Autodesk version changes, teams change, processes evolve. So success requires not just building a tool, but training users, governing how tools are used, and maintaining the long term. This is why we connect this conversation to CCP and ongoing services. With that foundation in place, let's move to the first key question: where to start? The best starting point is identifying tasks that are high frequency, done daily or weekly, high risk. Errors can cause big rework, inconsistent, different people do differently, admin heavy, lots of clicking, naming, exporting, checking. Then CCP gives structure, workflow discovery and mapping, identifying bottlenecks and waste, scoring opportunities by effort versus impact, building a roadmap, quick wins first, then high impact tools, and planning adoption so tools don't become nice ideas that no one uses. Revit examples. Examples where a Modena custom tool reduces manual work in Revit and how it's supported long-term. Common high-impact categories include automated views and setup and sheet setup with correct naming and template, parameter population and standard enforcement, manual auditing, health check with a report, automated export packages, PDF, DWGs, IFC, using consistent settings, data extraction, schedules for coordination and reporting.
Okay, so we've got a question here. Let's give it a second. We have difficulty managing publishing settings with teams removing and adding information under the wrong published settings. Is there a better way to manage this with automation and to lock critical publishing published settings? Sips, do you want to answer that or you want to come back to it?
I think we should come back to it.
Okay, we'll just get to the Q&A session for that.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. We will answer it in the Q&A session. So the service side is what keeps it valuable. Upgrades for new Revit versions, bug fixes and enhancements, user supports and troubleshooting, continuous improvement based on feedback, so the tool stays alive and useful across projects and releases. Modena versus in-house. In-house tools often depend on one or two key people. When they are busy, maintenance slips. Then upgrades happen, tools break, and adoption drops. Partnering with Modena means a delivery process with QA and documentation. Tools build with maintainability in mind. Ownership for upgrades as Autodesk version change. Structured user training through CCP and a support model that so issues are resolved quickly. The difference is sustainability and scale. Many workflows are bigger than Revit or AutoCAD teams. Teams need connections to document management systems for publishing and approvals, ERP and cost systems for assets and quantity data, project platforms for issues, statuses, and deliveries. Modena provides end-to-end integration services, requirements and workflow design, architecture and security planning, building custom connectors and apps, using Autodesk platform services where appropriate, and supporting the solution long-term. The goal is reducing manual copying and making information flow reliably. We use We use a controlled approach, rule-based training, not generic training. Governance, so standards and tools are used consistently. Pilot first, rollout. Prove value in the small scope before scaling. Support channels so projects aren't disrupted. And gradual improvement so teams build confidence over time. The goal is adoption without chaos and automation that actually sticks. So to summarize, Modena offers custom Autodesk apps, plugins, and add-in development, workflow analysis and automation, consulting through CCP, integration services connecting Autodesk to ERP, PM, and document systems, and support, maintenance, and upgrade services for custom tools. The focus is productivity, standardization, and long-term reliability. So to wrap up, key takeaway, start with frequent, risky, or inconsistent tasks. Use custom tools to standardize and reduce work. Integrate Autodesk workflows with wider businesses where it adds value, and make it sustainable with CCP, training, and ongoing support. Thank you for your time. We are happy to take questions.
Okay, so let's jump into Gert's question here, that he has difficulty managing publishing settings with teams removing and adding information under the wrong published settings. He's asking if there is a better way to manage this with automation and to lock critical published settings. I think the answer there is very simple. Yes, workflow automation is the one thing that helps us stay on the right track and on the right path. It helps us also to keep track and keep logs of where things go wrong. In other words, bottlenecks and holdups, anything that might interrupt it, but also where people make mistakes or don't follow the actual path. And it provides us with contingencies where we can then address these inconsistencies and help us to keep people on and within a specific workflow and following specific procedures within that. And it's the purpose of workflows is to basically also enforce standards. Standards is there to stop us making mistakes. And as a last thought there is just also, it also allows us to control input and to have certain inputs flagged as necessary or as, what is the word? Not important, but to lock them, automation allows us to lock in and to dictate what will be used in terms of maybe setting certain publishing settings or formulating responses in conjunction with the workflow procedures that we are following. So yes, there's definitely ways in which workflow management and control over the publishing settings will allow the automation automation will allow you to take better control and have better management of the critical publishing settings and procedures. I was missing a word there, and I'm trying to think what it was. Mandatory.
Yes, mandatory.
Mandatory. Certain, yeah. So basically, to answer that, certain of the publishing settings can be made mandatory. They can be enforced in specific responses, and it wraps up and makes the whole process more reliable and more sustainable and easier to follow for others that come through as well. Sibs, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, and before the user basically uses the publishing setting, so with automation, it can check, it can do like a pre-check if the user is using the correct settings for that critical publishing setting. So with automation, you do have a way to check and basically save it as a checklist to export it and have the correct data, the correct settings published. So yeah.
Yeah, automated workflows also has the added potential to keep track or to log specific responses and to keep track of what's going on in your organization. And automation also allows us to be notified. In other words, when somebody is veering off the what do you call it, the path, that means that you can have people alerted, you can have notifications, you can have automated corrections. So automation is really what helps us enforce standards and specifically workflow information, keep people on the right track and on the right path with that.
Yes, and it can also help with your ISO standards so that everyone does follow them without actually even trying. Like it can happen automatically with automation. So,
yeah, having standards without a way to enforce them or to make them stay on track means that standards have no purpose unless we actually have a way of putting that into place and making sure everybody adheres and sticks within those standards. We have another question here from Anonymous. Is there a plugin that can export multiple file types at once, for example, PDF here, without using the individual Revit tools? Yes, there are.
yes. And we do have a plugin called Exportly that can help with various multiple file types like your PDF, your DWGs, your IFC, and it can also help with your ISO standardization with the naming convention. So you don't really, with that tool, you don't really have to think about those stuff. So the admin part is handled for you, and you are able to focus on the art of modeling.
So with a one button click, you can have all the formats and output in one go without having to do it in separate functions either as well. So you can simply press a single button that can specify all the different outputs that you require.
Yeah.
This can be done for, sorry. Just following up on Gert's question, I think this can be done and forced across the spectrum of disciplines, being coordinated and managed from a central point view. Yes, it makes it far easier to control that and to make sure that we have the right paths being followed and people being directed and prompted to follow in the right direction, and also to keep specifically management informed when things start to stray and when things start to be delayed, I want to put it that way, and when standards are not being followed. So it makes it far easier to track and see and make sure that you have a live report almost of what's happening in your project instead of wondering if everybody's doing it right. And it with the ability to log these events, it is possible to have a far better management perspective or view of what is happening live on your project.
We are happy to take more questions. So if anyone has a question, we'll be happy to answer it.
Nothing there.
Okay, no question yet. I think we should give it 2 minutes.
We have another question from Tiens. What range of topics, tools do you specialize in? For example, sheet creation, views, model creation, etc., etc. We cover all of those and more. So yes, there is every one of those we have already incorporated in some of our tools. So do you want to add something there?
Yes, we do have a tool called the Modena Revit tool. It does cover all the examples that you shared for sheet creation, views, model creation. So yeah, we do have uh, those tools. And yeah, we do specialize uh, with your custom tools, whatever business problem you might be having with whether it's automation, we with any workflow that you might be using, or whether it's on Revit or any other Autodesk software, we can basically automate it for you and give you a custom tool that you might require for a specific business problem that you might be having. So yeah, we do cover all the everything.
Sheet creation, views, model creation, etc. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tiens.
Thank you, Tins.
Mhm. Okay, we have another question from Anonymous. Is there tools available that can, for example, draw the basic structure of a building from PDFs or DWG? So tools available that can, for example, draw the basic structure of a building from PDFs or DWGs. From DWGs, I'm pretty sure, and PDFs can be converted to DWGs. It's a bit of a heavy task, but yes, Sips, you want to add anything there?
Yeah, it is possible for us to create such a custom tool. It is a heavy task, but it is possible to create such a tool.
Essentially, 3D modeling started with simply extruding flat DWGs. So it's really the basis for everything you do in 3D today. And you would find that in AutoCAD 2.6, one of the very first builds that was on DOS. It is as early as that. It's the very, very basics of 3D modeling as you understand and see it today, but we're a long way from there. But it is still a challenging thing to simply hope that a flat 2D drawing or PDF can be converted into a three-dimensional object with measurements, and it becomes tricky if you start taking into consideration what is involved. Simply extruding walls does not make it a drawing. But yes, there are tools that will help you. And then there are also, of course, tools that we use for doing 3D mapping these days that allows far more accurate evaluation of that data. But it depends what is in your PDF or in your DWG file and what is available. But there's tools for that.
We have another question from Stacy.
Okay,
You can
all right. Does the model generation tool from Modena use a prompt-based tool to generative design or rely strictly on a CAD file or PDF? Sips, I don't know if you did. I think the model generation depends on what you're doing. It does not strictly rely on a CAD file or a PDF. And you have, for model generation, depending what kind of approach you have, you can actually 3D model or use laser technologies and other tech to get 3D models from an existing building if you want to recopy that. But for the most part of it, if you have a flat 2D drawing, that would be, I don't know if you moved the question, I don't know what I'm answering. So
Here's
is
the
it
question.
gone? Is it okay? Just
This
leave
is
that there. So, no, that was done. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. So yes, it has a prompt-based tool and it has the generative design or abilities in there. It does not rely strictly on CAD or PDF. Thanks, Stacey. Okay, Elijah wants to know how does it work with BIM? And have you got an answer there? How does it work with BIM?
It can automate your BIM.
It's just put back onto Elijah's
Or
initial.
back to Stacey's or Elijah's.
Yeah, let's see. I'm not sure exactly what Elijah is referring to. So let's get back to that. And we've got Elijah. We're going to come back to that now. Let's make sure we understand it first. Anonymous has asked, when it comes to organizing families and their parameters, is there a way to standardize between family types without needing to update and edit each one individually and manually? In our office, we have a housekeeping challenge where we have multiple families from many projects, which we are trying to standardize and organize with basic built-in parameters and information for new projects. We are working on it, but it's a lengthy and manual process. Is there a tool that would assist with something like this?
Yeah. So we can basically create a custom tool for you that will be able to handle the family types for you. And depending on your workflow, we can basically customize that and automate it for you so that your housekeeping challenge doesn't become a challenge anymore. So yeah, we can create custom tools for you that can handle your multiple family types. So yeah.
Yeah, I think with organizing families and their parameters, there's a certain amount of housekeeping that has to be done, but once it's been standardized and conforms, then it becomes more accessible to it. There's no quick part around some of it, but it can be made easier and it can reduce the amount of workload in or housekeeping that will make the housekeeping challenge far less challenging in that respect. I'm not exactly sure what Elijah was referring to there, so we'll just maybe come back to that afterwards or respond to that separately.
Yeah.
Right, we've answered that question where Elijah is anonymous is asked, so yeah. Any more questions? I think one of the things that we can just quickly touch on is one of the key aspects of why workflow automation would be beneficial is that once your processes are established and you have got the necessary workflows in place, it brings back integrity. People can start trusting you, your own designers and your own architects can start trusting the integrity of the process they follow more reliably, and it establishes trust not just from clients outside of your organization, but also in people inside. Trust your processes and your standards. If once you have established the necessary automated processes to make sure, so less time worrying about things going wrong things deviating or veering off track in that respect as well, which makes it quite important. I don't know if there's anything on your side you want to add, Sibs?
Yes, because with that now you are more focused on the modeling part and admin is handled for you automatically without you actually worrying to make a mistake in the admin part. So we have a question from
Okay, from Tiens, are you only offering the development of automation tool, or do you provide training to build your own tools as well? Well, Tiens, I think we have both covered, and we can provide and assist or participate if you want to build your own tools. And I think we will see this happening a lot more with AI these days. It has become a lot easier to engage and start creating your own tools. But ultimately, it is often necessary to get a little bit of professional advice and help when you're doing this. It's not as straightforward, and AI doesn't do everything for you, but it sure brings it a step, it makes it a step easier and brings it a lot closer. And we are happy to work closely with you in developing your own or developing for you for use internally. This thing bounces about a bit, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so you develop an automation tool, you provide training to build your own tools, and we will provide, yes, we do provide training for building tools as well.
we have another question.
Does the CCP program from Anonymous, does the CCP program perhaps provide courses that consist in understanding the Autodesk Colab Pro and Autodesk construction cloud platforms? Sibs, you want to give it a go?
Yes, it does provide courses that could assist in understanding. We do have I'm forgetting the name of the what is it? I'm forgetting the name, but we do provide the course on this platform that we use. I'm for ACC is ACC.
Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Yeah, it's ACC. There's the one that we have. I'm forgetting the name, but yeah, we do have courses that assist in understanding Autodesk Colab Pro and ACC.
I don't know, I have the same problem. I can't think of anything exactly now, but let me see.
Not still sure it's
Okay, well, we'll come back to that if we can respond to anonymously later.
yeah.
Right. Anything else on your side you want to add, Sibs?
Nothing on my side. If you'd like to talk to us and additional information and feedback, you can use the barcode there just to provide us with feedback. And if you have anything you'd like us to discuss or anything, you can use that barcode.
Just snap the barcode if you want any additional info and feedback, and we will get back to you and help where we can, answer what we can.
Okay,
Is that a wrap? Good.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sibs. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Thank you for your time, and we will hopefully hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.